Greetings and salutations to you people of the interwebs. So we're a little bit behind schedule on this. The usual Transformers comic roundup. I normally go into each issue, do a video on each issue, but we're going to do a double at the moment. We're going to look at Transformers Bold New Era issue 15 and 16, specifically the Change in Your Nature part 3 and 4. So, issue 3. We've had the explosion that's heard across the world, the cybertron. Heard across cybertron, this explosion, as some risers are blown up in this little scuffle inside a Titan. It's tragic, is it? It's kind of tragic, but because Ruckus is one of my little low-key favourite Decepticon thugs, and he well dead. Yeah, and then this is instigated by Soundwave, so now everyone is looking to Megatron, and it's time for Megatron to put his house into order. So he starts getting jacked up on Energon because they're not normally allowed to be fully 100% fueled up, but Jahaxus gets the reserves and starts pumping him full of the good old Energon stuff and power up. Yeah, and so he can go and kind of sort his underlings out in a way. Yeah, so this is the change in your nature is very much because we go into Megatron's backstory a little bit here about how he first started off. He was, a pit fighter and a miner, and even though he was doing these dirty jobs, he always found solace in these jobs that it was helping Cybertron achieve something that no matter how dark his days were, he knew that what he was doing, his perseverance, what he endured, meant that Cybertron would strive and succeed on his back, basically. On him breaking his back hard at work would actually help to achieve something. And then there was this war with the threefold spark. We kind of get a bit more information gleaming on that, so it looks like it is some kind of entity that is one spark separated on three Cybertronians and their allies, basically at war with the rest of the Cybertron, and so Megatron was on the side of the winning side, the people who the winning side is the people who won, who weren't the threefold spark, the regular Transformers, as it were. Yeah, so we get all that information. This is kind of while Megatron's being juiced up. And then he goes to see Shockwave, who he's been in cahoots with. There's been a bit of a touch and go, sort of like Megatron's going like, yeah, I'm in charge of everything, Shockwave. Don't do stuff without me telling you to. And then Shockwave's been like, yeah, sure. I'm not going to do anything at all without your permission. He's been totally just doing stuff, causing chaos, because that's what this iteration of Shockwave likes to do, is cause chaos. So yeah, he goes to see him. We get a little bit of a comic relief from some of Shockwave's subordinates, mainly Flame War, who's got a name for comic relief, really, and Hyperdrive, and also getting Barricade and what's the name? Shadow Striker. It's kind of a bit of a tussle, a bit of a misunderstanding about whose living quarters are whose. So yeah, it's a little bit of comedy just dropped in there until we get the main scene of Megatron confronting Shockwave and saying, "Listen, who are your top guys? And Shockwave says, oh, that would be Six Shot and what's her name? Oh my god, names. We're getting old now. His names just can't just trip to the top of my head as they used to. She's a seeker. She's teal and silver and purple. She's the female kind of Starscream that was in animated. Let's see. Slipstream. There you go. Slipstream. That was hard. That wasn't easy. Just he calls them. Megatron points to them and says, "You two stand there. Don't move," and then proceeds to beat the merry hell out of Shockwave in front of them. Go, just basically saying, like, listen, who's your daddy now? I am. So he whips Shockwave into an inch of his spark, his little eye blinking on and off. Okay, please stop, Megatron. Stop now. You've made your point. Yeah, he's made his point. He says, listen, do not fuck with me again. And goes off. And that's basically, says, that's it. We can keep everything under control. That's it. Keep everything under control now. However, in the meantime, Sentinel Prime is interrogating people. He's getting his story straight, and he's decided, no, it's time for some heavy security operation measures, and that's kind of where we're at as we go into issue 16. Leads quite beautifully in there. Yeah, so we'll just go on. The pace, like we said, or supposed, like we supposed, that after this explosion, the pace would pick up, and we're going to now just go full throttle, kind of, whew, this is it now. This we've done the setup, we've seen where the various different pieces are on the chessboard, and then as soon as this explosion happened, we're just going to go forward, and the pace is going to change drastically, and we're going to get into, well, the promise of the dawn of war, basically, and how this thing started. So yeah, Brian Ruckley's doing a nice job, I think. We've got Anna Malkova and Beth mcguire-smith doing the art. Doing excellent teamwork. The styles are very similar, so it is hard to tell who's doing what, really. Which isn't a bad thing. I think I enjoy that. I like the fact that they work so well in tandem, especially with Joanna LaFonte and Josh Bertram kind of doing the colours to create that kind of cohesiveness about everything. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So again, issue 16 is Ryan Ruckley writing art, Beth mcguire-smith, and now Anna Malkova. Is it written the other way around? Right. Yeah, so it's Anna Malkova and Beth mcguire-smith did the art on this one, and this time it's Beth mcguire-smith and Anna Malkova, and Josh Bertram and Joanna LaFonte on colours, and we've got James Wood now doing lettering, not Thomas B. Long. He's long gone now, but which is a shame because I think you do notice he's not quite as dynamic as Mr. Belong's lettering. But anyway, so here we have, there's meetings and meetings going on in Iacon. Got some nice kind of, I like, there's guards standing on operations as people are going in and out, and I like kind of the line work here, and the colours really pop. So again, Starscream just doing about in the background, talking to Road Rage. Who's calling Starscream absurd, but there's kind of a bit of kind of interplay that Starscream knows that Road Rage has got the hots for Nautica, and he's a bit jealous. So Nautica's talking to other people, so that's quite cute, as it were. And then we have a meeting between Heretic and Megatron. And Heretic doesn't want anything to do with this. He wants to be gone. He's thinking about leaving, and he's basically just telling Megatron that the Senate is going to make him, are going to, consider him for his part of the administration, but he wants him to denounce the Decepticons, and they're also going to arrest Senator Soundwave. So he's just kind of dropping that bomb onto Megatron, and as he does that and leaves, Starscream again wheels his way up, and it's kind of like, you know what? I kind of like to see what's going to happen now, because I like to be on the winning side, and at this moment in time, I'm not exactly sure which side is going to be the winning side. So he's like, kind of like, you know what? At some point, I might put my chips in your hat, but not yet. So yeah, so Nautica arrives at the I presume the airport, spaceport. There we go, spaceport, immigration, and the Void have arrived. But they're bringing the big, like, heavy load rigs with them that are more kind of brutal than the normal, like, squiddy or little apey things. So they're looking a bit more armored. So she's like, you know what? They're here to cause trouble. And in the meantime, Megatron's talking to Elita 1 about Bumblebee and asking if she thinks that they could trust Bumblebee, and she's like, you know what, I like Bumblebee. He's actually quite passionate, and but I think that there's other people in your organisation who are well dodgy. But then Megatron has come to realise that this crisis, this what essentially Shockwave and Soundwave have done, has pushed it to a point of crisis now, and that now what Sentinel Prime is doing with his security forces, that he's played his hand now, that he's going to have to go all in, that he's playing it safe to try and affect change by just doing a little bit here and a little bit there, is not going to work. And now it's going to be a time for violence. That's the change in your nature, isn't it? That's the change in your nature. So we have Slipstream and the Team Stream are off in Astro Train to go, and basically they've gone and they set off and they hack into a Titan. So they do a bit of a heist and hack into a Titan, and that is how we leave it. So yeah. Oh. Again, all in all, the story for me is getting a lot more interesting. I like all the various different bits of Transformer lore coming together, and a new take, kind of, or a lot of it is the same lore, but it's just a different story rather than a different take. I don't know if that sounds, if that makes sense. It's not the same telling. It's not the same, obviously. This is how the war started on Cybertron, which is always kind of very similar. But I like the interplay of all the different factors and all the different sides here. And there's also some other things, these like the alien species that also could get embroiled into this war and stuff like that. That'll make it very different than the normal tellings. I mean, who knows if the Void will one day grow up to be Quintessons? You know, that's, entirely possible. That is actually entirely possible. That's entirely possible. Yeah. That's penny dropped. Yeah. Oh, for just thinking about that now. Sorry, I'm just stunned myself at that. Yeah. 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 Kind of organic, but needing robotic things to keep them going, to keep the soft fit. They're a bit Dalek-y, I think, but they've got these units that keep them alive. Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying. I think Beth mcguire-smith and Anna Molkova are doing a cracking job. I have been saying that since they started on this book, I've said just watch out for these girls. They're going to get better and better, and they are getting better and better. And I think it just is the more we get of them, the better it's going to get. So obviously, by the time it's TF Nation next year, and they're both, I think they're both now guests. Right? They're normally in the Forge as fan artists, and now they're going to be having actual tables at the wherever all the guests are. So the actual guest artists at TF Nation, which is quite cool. So yeah, by the time that comes around, I'm sure they'll have gotten even quite a few more issues under the belts, and yeah, it'll be rock and roll time. I did buy my TF Nation tickets this last weekend, so I'll be there for everyone else who's going to be involved, and yeah, looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next issue 17 of this, and the next issues of the Transformers Galaxies. So I think Transformers Galaxies, the last issue, is out this week, and so when that arrives, we'll look at issue 3 and 4 together with that, and we'll also probably do one on the we've got the Valentine's Day special as well to look at. We'll talk about that in a separate video at some point over this weekend, and issue 17 when that comes out. And maybe at some point I might actually get some new toys. Well, Transformer ones. I've got these guys. They're pretty cool. Till then, be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes, and because you deserve it, let's bump the fish, bump the fist. Bestow! Fisto!